Blue sky, a lovely lake. But air pollution has made its water too acid to support any life. Trees in many parts of the world are dying from acid rain. As the world's temperature rises, glaciers melt and seawater expands, so land near sea level may disappear under the waves. Smoke from burning fuel for heating and all sorts of other uses leads to smog that covers city streets. Then many people suffer from sore throats, and worse. The exhaust gas from motor vehicles is very bad for our health and the environment. We all want clean air. So, what should we do? First, let's look at the causes of air pollution. Very rapid industrial growth was achieved in Japan, for example, during the 1950s and 60s. Factories burned fuel containing lots of sulfur, and this sent out sulfur oxides that polluted the air. So, many people living near big industrial complexes suffered serious damage to their health. To stop this tragedy, Japan put into effect its air pollution control law in 1968. This made factories use low-sulfur fuel and install equipment for desulfurization. That is, for removing sulfur oxides from their smoke. But while sulfur oxides were reduced, nitrogen oxides from the exhaust gas of motor vehicles have become a more and more serious problem. Despite regulations, the very rapid rise in the number of vehicles has prevented any improvement, especially in and around big cities. Now, the rain that's meant to cleanse our world brings poisons to it. Air pollutants, such as nitrogen oxides and sulfur oxides, dissolve in rain or snow and fall back on the earth. Polluted, acidic water seeps into the soil, damaging plants, and it also destroys life in rivers and lakes. Acid rain is blamed for the mass deaths of trees and even the melting of highway concrete. Furthermore, nitrogen oxides react with hydrocarbons to form a secondary type of pollutant called photochemical oxidants. This leads to the photochemical smog which stings our eyes, noses, and throats. Still another problem, now causing more and more concern, is the tiny particles of polluting matter suspended in the air. Some experts say that particles from diesel exhaust can lead to allergies and even lung cancer. And we must not forget that carbon dioxide could make our whole world much hotter. The main cause of global warming is said to be the rapid increase of carbon dioxide produced in the daily activities of modern life. Carbon dioxide holds in the heat from sunlight and burning fuel in what is called the greenhouse effect. As the world's temperature rises, some areas will dry out, while others will be threatened by the rising sea level. Acid rain and photochemical smog are blamed largely on nitrogen oxides. In Tokyo, 70% of the nitrogen oxides come from motor vehicles. In cars running on gasoline, such emissions can be reduced by putting in catalytic converters. But diesel-powered vehicles, especially trucks, emit especially large amounts of nitrogen oxides. So, since 1992, a special law keeps such vehicles out of Japan's big cities. New transport methods are being tried, and new technology is being developed for clean air. For example, long-distance trucks can be brought near their destinations on this sort of piggyback train. This approach both saves fuel and cuts down on exhaust gas. Popular tourist spots have special traffic problems. Now, the lovely old city of Kamakura is experimenting with the park and ride system. Visitors park their cars and then use a small local train to get around in the city. Naturally, this means fewer traffic jams and less exhaust gas. So, other local governments are considering the use of this system. This graph shows that, compared to trains, cars produce 8 times as much carbon dioxide per passenger. It's very clear that the use of public transportation can be one way to help prevent pollution and global warming. This is a yearly display of low-emission vehicles, meaning those that emit only small amounts of nitrogen oxides and carbon dioxide, and some that don't give off any exhaust gas at all. They include cars that run on natural gas or methanol instead of gasoline, and so-called hybrid cars that use 2 different types of power, for example, a diesel engine and an electric motor.
.企業としてはやはりよりクリーンな車を、早くを少しでも多くですね、提供できるような形で環境の保全に協力できたらというふうに思っております。
Lots of attention is focused these days on electric cars, completely free of exhaust gas. One example is this small and stylish car, developed mainly by Japan's Environment Agency.
やっぱり電気自動車が面白そうですね。値段次第ですけどね。
うちなんか普段は全然車使わないので、週末だけだったらもう電気自動車で十分なんで、ぜひ乗ってみたいと思います。
This has been given the name Luciole, the French word for firefly. Each of its rear wheels has its own motor. Since it runs as well as a gasoline car, there are high hopes that it can be the model for the next generation of electric cars. Now, local governments are studying how they can use low-emission vehicles. For example, the city government of Nagoya in central Japan uses 58 vehicles that run on natural gas, methanol, or electric power. These include 29 official cars, garbage trucks, and city buses that all use compressed natural gas. Vehicles that run on compressed natural gas emit no sulfur oxides and only small amounts of nitrogen oxides and carbon dioxide. You can see the difference clearly by comparing the exhaust pipe of a natural gas bus and a diesel bus. People in Nagoya have the highest rate of car ownership among all of Japan's major cities. That's why the use of low-emission vehicles there can be especially important.
抵抗会社というものをまず知っていただくと、知らんのに導入というのはなかなかいきませんので、そういう意味では一般市民へのそういう PR 活動ということに実は大変重要かなというふうに思っています。
Besides improving cars themselves, another approach is to clean the air right at the points where it becomes most polluted. Along one highway near the big city Osaka, a new system draws polluted air into ducts and passes it through soil to be cleaned by the microorganisms and such there. This looks like an ordinary green area, but this plastic bag is filling with newly cleaned air rising from the soil. Experiments show that this system can remove more than 90% of the nitrogen oxides from the air. Another experimental system makes use of light and titanium dioxide in photocatalytic panels to remove nitrogen oxides. First, panels are painted with titanium dioxide. That substance produces ionized oxygen, which bonds with nitrogen oxides and so removes them from the air. This approach is drawing a lot of attention since it can be used with many different types of materials, such as sidewalk paving, to remove air pollutants. But of course, the most basic way to ensure clean air is to plant plenty of trees wherever we can. In short, many efforts to clean up the air are already underway. This busy highway around Tokyo is known to produce serious air pollution. These boys who live nearby are members of an eco club concerned with studying the local ecology. Today, they're doing a simple experiment. They measure out a certain amount of air by making it replace the same amount of water in a plastic bottle. As water drains out of holes in the bottom of the bottle, air enters through a tube at the top. A piece of filter paper put across the tube catches the air pollutants. Just 9 liters of air made the paper this dirty. But in a single hour, each of us breathes in several hundred liters of air. The boys repeated their experiment in a park 2 kilometers from the highway.
すごいよね。見えないよこれ。ないよ。どれ？赤っかにある。
And the paper showed hardly any pollution.
なんか今の中野区はちょっと車とかが多いから、こういう風な公園のような木がたくさん生えている中野区にしたい。
A number of local governments in Japan have published pamphlets teaching people how to test for pollution in their own neighborhoods. For example, morning glory flowers are quick to show the spotting of acid rain. Each of us can do a number of things to work for clean air. One easy way to reduce car exhaust gas is to have drivers stop idling their engines. That is, whenever a car is standing still, its engine should be quickly turned off. This shopping district, located between a railway and a highway, has had a big problem with exhaust gas. So, about 20 years ago, the local people began to put up signs appealing to drivers not to idle their engines here. And now, most drivers cooperate. Also, drivers for a certain delivery company always tie their engine keys to their belts, so they'll be sure to turn off the engines whenever they leave their trucks. This bus has a new system which turns off its engine automatically. Whenever the bus stops for a traffic light or such, the driver puts the gear into neutral and releases the clutch. Then the engine turns off. When he steps on the clutch again, the engine starts. A poster on the bus explains how this system eliminates idling. Hyogo Prefecture, near Osaka, has led the way in making drivers even pay fines for unnecessary idling of their engines. And all over Japan, banners and stickers promote the anti-idling campaign. Of course, the ideal low-emission vehicle is the electric car, which produces no exhaust gas at all. And some people already use electric cars in their daily lives. The car expert Tadashi Tateuchi converted this car himself to make it run on electricity, and now he drives it to his office almost every day.
遠くに出かけるときは違う車にするんですけども、事務所に来て、事務所からまた都心に行くというようなケースの時はほとんどこの車で通勤してるんですよ。自宅からここまでが約8キロ、往復で16キロ、それ2日走れますけどね。充電はだから2日に1回ぐらいなんですけども、家でね、100ボルトのコンセントで、だからもう家の普通のコンセントですよね。もう十分それで今までやってますけど、何も問題ないですよね。ガソリン代のね3分の1ぐらい考えればいいと思うんですよ。車のコストを入れなければ、すごく安いですね。今ガソリン代が安くなる、通勤費が安くなる、楽しみにしてるんですけどね。
Led by Mr. Tateuchi, the Japan Electric Vehicle Club has held a number of seminars and test drive sessions. Each time, more than 100 participants have learned how to install electric motors and batteries. They learn that the structure of electric cars is much simpler than that of gasoline engine cars. Then they go for drives in the electric cars they've worked on.
優しく走れるって感じ。
あ、本当に。
いや快適ですね。スムースで滑らかですね。非常に具合いいですね。びっくりしました。
価格の問題ですね。それからもう一つは航続距離の問題、航続距離がやっぱりどうしてもまだ短いで、ただしですね、いずれにしても今後は、自動車の使用そのものを抑制していかなきゃならないだろうということで、むしろですね、現在の電気自動車が使えるように使うということがね、結局は大気環境に対して改善が一番著しいんではないか、これを受け入れてそれに合うようなライフスタイルに僕ら自身変えていくということが本当の僕らの問題だと思うんですけどね。
これウインカーです。
Electric cars don't produce exhaust gas, but of course it would be best if electricity generation could be pollution-free too. The solar energy panels on the roof of this grade school supply 1/4 of the electricity it needs. If the cost of such solar energy systems could be lowered, their widespread use would do much to cut air pollution. We've seen a number of ways to reduce motor vehicle exhaust. But there's another important thing we can do: reduce household garbage. The burning of garbage produces serious air pollution and carbon dioxide. So we should reduce our garbage for the sake of cleaner air. This housewife took on that challenge. She began to separate out all the bottles, cans, plastics, and paper in her household garbage, and to send these items to recycling businesses. When she shops, she chooses items that don't have extra packaging, such as plastic trays or boxes. Her family of 4 used to put out nearly 100 kilos of garbage every month, but now the amount has been cut to well under 20 kilos.
驚くほど減りましたね。でも暮らし方というとそうね、なんかこちょっと変えてるだけなのになんでこんなに変わっちゃうのかっていう感じね。
This family loves to go out riding bicycles on their holidays to enjoy the beauties of nature still left around them. Even their 2-year-old daughter can go along safely in a special bicycle seat.
自然の良さっていうか素晴らしさっていうか、そういうことはまず教えたいと思いますね。本当にこういう本当に綺麗な空気というか美味しい空気ってどんなもんなんだろうっていうのはちゃんと子供のうちから知っていてほしいし、本当のこういう綺麗な自然というのをですね、できるだけたくさん感じさせてあげたいなっていうのはありますね。
To live healthy lives, we must all have clean air. So each of us should take responsibility in the fight to save clean air and the other blessings of nature. Our own efforts are the key to preventing air pollution.